You're listening to Next Level Thinking on St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9.
Welcome back, listeners. Before the break, we were talking about the use of social media, how we all use it from big to small, small to big. We're online and almost every day throughout the day. And I don't think any of us can imagine a life anymore without social media. I also think, especially here in St. Martin, social media plays a huge role in just news broadcasting and just sharing information. But what we were talking about actually was, how do we connect on Facebook? What do we do? How do we keep in touch with others? We were talking about being able to connect with our family members from abroad and away and just keeping up with information. But are we really connecting? Are we really making that connection?
Yeah, I must say I also use it sometimes, like something to take my mind off things and actually not to connect. So to get out of the connection. So it could be something that I just scroll through the timeline or check the new pictures or read an article just to be with myself. Or not really with myself, because then I'm focusing on those kind of things, right? So it can also be like a hideout. So it's anonymous, and you can be just there in that world for a moment. You can leave all the rest behind, and you can, just be there.
So just do your own thing.
Yeah.
No one knows where you are.
Yeah, you are still here, but your mind is there.
Right. So you're not connecting. You're not
connecting. No, at that moment, I'm not connecting.
You're not.
And I hear that a lot of people also do that they take their free time. You know what you're doing? Yes, scrolling through your social media apps. And what did you really do? Yeah, I don't really know.
Right.
But in a way, when you scroll through all those news items, but also the posts of friends, maybe you're not connected in a way that you have a conversation with that friend, but in your own bubble, so just being disconnected in a way with other real life people, you're still being informed about the life of other people.
Yeah, that's true. It goes on. You still have all those images that you see, all those posts, and that also makes me think, sometimes it becomes a fake world. And the things that people, all for the grams, all for the Instagram likes, or all for the perfect picture. That picture that is posted where you see all the girls in the ocean and the boyfriends like trying to get that right picture, and you see the other person from farther away taking that picture.
I know that post, yeah.
Oh, wait, there's a message coming through. Wait. Oh, sorry.
Distracted again.
Exactly. But that's kind of what's happening around us, right? Social media is constantly pulling us away kind of from the actual world. Message comes in and I'm like distracted again. Like, okay, there's something else going on than this connection that we have right now. There's just, an interruption, and we have to be drawn to that right away.
Just look around. If you look around and you look at people, how many people are having their phone in their hand?
Right.
Yeah.
But I think, because I do it. I know I go on, but sometimes it's just easier. As Caroline says, somewhere a hideout, but it's just easier to not feel alone, but be alone. It's easier to connect, but not connect. Because, face-to-face connections, it's all nice and dandy, but it takes a lot of energy, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have to adjust. I have to read your body language, your intonation, all these hidden messages that you send me non-verbally. When I'm face-to-face communicating with you, I have to read them, analyze them, figure out how to respond to that immediately, because immediately you expect a response. Well, when someone sends me in WhatsApp and I don't exactly know what is meant or how it's meant, I get a chance. I act as if I didn't read it sometimes, and I get back to it like, okay, still don't know what to say. Next day I respond. And it also kind of helps because you kind of have the excuse to tell someone like, oh, well, I didn't respond because I was busy. Instead of telling them, well, I didn't know what to say or I didn't feel like responding. You can't do that.
It gives you some time.
It gives you some time, but it can also give you like miscommunication quite easily, because if you think about that message on WhatsApp and you do not have that nonverbal information, you can read it wrong and you can have your assumptions, and
Right.
There's the fight.
Yeah, that's true, because I can take it in a different way now because a comma was missing or an exclamation mark.
But that's also something that you see more often on social media, is that people are a little bit more blunt sometimes when they post or comment or say things.
I think very much more
because
blunt.
that filter is not there. That social filter is missing. So sometimes the things that are said online can be quite cruel.
Can be very harsh. Exactly. You don't have that person right in front of you. So you don't necessarily feel that empathy, I guess, that feeling of that you connect. Hey, I feel bad if I would tell you this, because there's an immediate response. You see someone getting hurt, feeling slighted, and now you don't. So you can just continue and throwing these terrible words and phrases at the computer, at this unpersonal thing that doesn't give you any feedback at all.
There's a link to the frustration again.
Exactly.
Well, huh? So if you are frustrated and you just act upon the frustration right away without taking that step back and thinking about it, you just throw it online. Who cares?
But it's still there. It's out there. And that's also, in that sense, a little bit of the danger of social media. It's out there. It's a real thing in that sense. Not that you can touch it, but if you write a comment, other people can read it. And they can perceive you in a certain manner, you know? I even heard sometimes people getting fired of comments that they made on Facebook. And, you know, I also agreed with some of those situations that, you know, somebody was working in a care institution somewhere in the Netherlands. And after their shift, they wrote something terribly about the clients. I'm like, yeah, that's just not done.
Right.
And even if it's on social media, even worse, because the whole world can reach that information. So be aware, be mindful. And, you know, there are supposed to be etiquettes, social rules that we should follow, but somehow we don't learn those. So actually, I was happy to hear that you had teachers telling you about do's and don'ts.
Right. But because that was our question, right? Is it social? Are we still social? And I guess because that computer screen or phone screen is in between, it kind of takes away that social etiquette, as you're saying, Caroline. It takes away that human part, I guess, that we have. And it makes it fake. And I guess that discrepancy is why certain people post things online and think that online is not the actual world. They think this is one world, and at work I'm this person, and I do what I'm expected to do, and I portray myself the way I'm expected to act. But then I go online and I get the chance to hide as well, but hide also sometimes in a negative way and be this completely different person and express everything that I feel, think, and just put it all online, because this is this alternate world where no one judges.
You think.
You think.
It's not the case. Yeah, and also it can give you like a mix-up. Do you become friends on Facebook with your clients, the teacher with the students, or is that not done? You know, those are things that are a lot of different opinions about. And everybody has their own way, but it can get you in trouble if you cross the boundaries. And
it blurs lines.
It blurs lines, exactly. And that makes it difficult. So I think it's a very interesting world. It is part of our world. We cannot deny it. But it's also something that can be a danger.
Yeah, I think it's so dangerous because our online interactions are so devoid of emotions. We have our emoticons, our smiley faces that kind of tend and try to fill that gap of emotion, but it's not there, and it creates such a gap. And I'm not saying that social media is all bad and terrible, but I think we have to be aware of how important that social aspect is, and that emotional connection that we normally have with people, and that social media can't always give us, right?
It's an addition.
It's an addition
to normal life.
Yes.
You know, and don't lose that normal connection that we have with people.
Yeah.
And sharing information, sharing feelings, having that feeling of being connected to someone, not just by liking a post.
No, because I mean, that is one thing, right? The likes and what we all would do for the likes. I saw a post of, I think, a young lady hanging outside of this infinity pool.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very, very tall or high rock cliff wall. I don't even know what it was, but it was so dangerous. There was a lot of backlash. But they did that
But you know that people died trying to make that ultimate picture, right?
Right.
Wow.
So they did that for that picture, for those likes.
You don't know who's going to see that and who's going to try to, you know, have a better picture than that, and all the risks that...
Right.
Yeah, and why would you even want to have that kind of picture? Because then you have more likes, and then what?
What do you do with those likes?
But there are some role models as well, you know, who have that account, who have those, like a lot of followers, that a lot of youngsters, adults even too, look up too, and they want to be them.
Right.
They want to get those likes too. They want to be that person who does that iPad or iPod or that Instagram account. And
Right.
get that many followers. So they will go that far sometimes.
You create an image too, huh?
So when do you go too far? I think that is a very interesting question that we should answer in our next segment. When is it too much? When do we go blur the lines, go beyond, and lose that touch with reality? And when does it get really, really dangerous? So listeners, please stay tuned and come back to us to Next Level Thinking.
Next Level Thinking.